Couldn't get more dramatic? Let's consider Mr. Vadeboncoeur. This man was done with his wife's compulsive lies and the emotional turmoil they caused. He insisted that his wife had been involved with another man when she conceived their baby. From the very start, Mr. Vadeboncoeur was adamant. This wasn't just about proving paternity, it was about exposing the deceit that had shattered his life and trust. He felt betrayed and needed the truth to reclaim his peace of mind. The courtroom was set for a showdown, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Vadeboncoeur versus Fernari.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Vadeboncoeur, you have petitioned the court to prove to Miss Fernari that you are not the biological father of her one-year-old son, Dawson.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you can prove you're not.
Mrs. Fernari didn't make things easy. She was quick to dismiss her husband's accusations. Even as the courtroom buzzed with the tension of their confrontation, the air was thick with emotions, making it clear that this was no ordinary dispute. Mr. Vadeboncoeur, however, wasn't about to back down. He painted a picture of a relationship built on a foundation of lies, with his wife's infidelity at the center. While he believed they'd been together barely months, she suggested it had been 2 years. He claimed she had numerous relationships behind his back, and now he wanted the truth to come out once and for all.
Want her out of your life for good.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Fernari, though you admit to sleeping with 2 other men, you say there's no doubt that Mr. Vadeboncoeur is your son's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Vadeboncoeur, tell me about your relationship with Miss Fernari.
One thing was true, though. She had indeed been cheating, and she confessed to it herself. The difference was, it wasn't multiple times, according to her. So, who then was telling the truth? We'll find out soon enough.
He hear about you being with other men.
I did tell him.
You told him?
Yes, I did.
What did you tell him?
That I had sex with another guy while he was away.
So, Mr.
The drama escalated when Mr. Vadeboncoeur revealed that he had been approached by one of his friends, who confessed to being one of his wife's alleged lovers. This revelation, he claimed, was the final straw, proof that she had been unfaithful. The courtroom erupted in an uproar, with emotions running high on all sides, each person caught in the storm of conflicting narratives.
You know, Miss Fernari is out there cheating on you. I'm one of the guys she cheated on you with. All right, now I'll let it go. I was thinking he is mine. Now I get to talking to another guy and he tells me he's had sex with her, and I look at Dawson and I look at him and I'm thinking it's his kid.
How did that affect you?
I was sick.
The surprise thickened when Mr. Vadeboncoeur's sister came out to testify, siding with Mrs. Fernari, believing it was in the best interest of the child. This unexpected turn added another layer of complexity to an already tense situation. Mrs. Fernari, visibly shaken, did not deny the allegations. Then she stepped foot on chaos's gas, claiming her actions were in response to Mr. Vadeboncoeur cheating first. This bombshell sent shockwaves through the courtroom.
Bonker?
Yes, that's my brother.
Oh, so you're the sister that told him about the cheating, but you're standing with Miss Fernari today?
It's about this little boy right here.
Tell me what you know.
That's what it's about.
Tell me what you know.
One night after we had all been drinking, she slept with one of the people that came to our little get-together.
The drama heightened when Mrs. Knox, David's fiancée, stepped in, transforming the court from peace to chaos as the 3 women took the stand. The crux of the matter lay in their attempts to secure a paternity test, but Ms. Fernari had taken their requests with a pinch of salt, leading to even more frustration and accusations.
You went out and went to the bar with 2 other girls and had sex with them.
That's irrelevant, Your Honor.
Okay,
Why our son was in the hospital?
We was not together at the time. She asked me to come up and
Yes,
see
we
Dawson.
were together.
So I did come and see Dawson. She tries to say we've been together for 3 years.
After so much argument and emotional turmoil, the moment arrived to reveal the truth of the matter. As the judge read the results, you could cut the tension with a knife. The truth was finally out, and the outcome, let's just say it left everyone in that courtroom, and probably everyone watching, completely stunned.
Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Vadeboncoeur versus Fernari, when it comes to 12-month-old Dawson Fernari, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Vadeboncoeur, you are the father.
That's your...
In this dramatic episode of Paternity, says he hopes his 11-month-old is his baby, but his doubts are overwhelming. Mrs. Thompson also hopes that the baby is his, but knows that there is a possibility he isn't. And here is how it begins.
It's rocky, you know. We don't sleep in the same bedroom. We haven't slept in the same bedroom in years. We haven't had sex probably in about 7-8 months, you know. And it's just, you know, she don't like to cook, she don't like to clean, she don't like to work. So it's a lot going on other than Micah. So it's, you know, like I said, every marriage is not perfect, but it's a lot going on.
You want this baby to be your biological child, but you truly doubt.
That is admirable. No matter what happens here today, Mr. Thompson wants to be there for this kid and show him all the love he can get. But why are they even here in the first place? Where does the paternity doubt come from?
We met in college. We had a class together. And he sat behind me, cracking jokes, trying to copy off my tests. Next thing you know, we were talking and we were together in a relationship. And it was good. We were inseparable. You couldn't see him without seeing me.
I mean, that just sounds storybook. It does. So, Mr. Thompson, the bottom line is you met and you were very happy together.
Oh, a ghetto wedding? That is one way to put it. Ms. Thompson says it was a hood love story, and that just warms your heart. But this love story must have turned sour some way down the line. How did that happen?
Found out she was doing some things that she shouldn't have been doing. Text messaging, meeting up with guys and stuff like that. So when I confronted her, she said it wasn't true. So when she said it wasn't true, I found out otherwise. I had a DNA test on my first two boys by her. We married, but every time while we're in a marriage and every time you get pregnant, I gotta get a DNA test.
I was gonna ask the same question.
You know, I don't understand.
Oh, so she's had 2 boys and he's had paternity doubts for both of them? That is crazy. And now he has paternity doubts for the 3rd time? At this point, should he not be thinking of a divorce? But he still wants to make it work. Good for him. Let us hear what Ms. Thompson has to say for herself.
When I left, she said she was gonna work on herself. Me and her had ample conversations.
While he was with somebody else.
About her working on herself. She was working on herself because she deleted me off social media. I found out she started adding all these other dudes to her social media page.
Because you were gone. You were living with somebody else.
Were you living with somebody else, Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, I was.
So why shouldn't she move on?
She didn't want to move on. She said she was gonna work on.
Yeah, it is one of those relationships. So Mr. Thompson got fed up with his wife and moved out to go and live with someone else. Then he got angry when his wife tried to move on as well. That sounds a little unfair, but the details get worse.
He left and I found out that he was staying with somebody else and they were supposed to be in a relationship. I printed up the divorce papers myself.
That's after I left her for the 3rd time.
All right, so this relationship definitely is in trouble.
Yeah, Mr. Thompson is correct. Something happened that night. Mr. Thompson didn't really have proof, but he knew something was up. Now, did Ms. Thompson admit that she traveled to go and cheat? Let's see what she has to say.
Well, I already knew what she was going to do. I didn't have no proof, but I knew what she was going to do. Now,
Is that what you were going to do, Ms. Thompson?
I can't even lie about it. Yeah, it was.
Now that's the first time she admitted that.
Well, that's what we do in this courtroom. We get to the truth. So now we know.
Okay, going one time was bad enough. But going back again after 2 weeks? Now she is just daring Mr. Thompson and forcing his hand. However, this time he was serious with it and decided to compile some evidence.
The one Atlanta phone number that keep popping up, and I researched the phone number and it's coming back to a gentleman. So when she finally called me, I'm like, okay, Toya, so what you out there doing? I was like, so I'm looking at the phone bill and this one Atlanta number keep popping up and it's from a male. She was like, one of my friends. Yeah, it's a male. So I was like, so that's who you out there with? She was like, nah. Now mind you, I'm sitting on the couch with my kids watching TV. Every car they just driving by, they jumping up. Is that mom? Is that mom? They waiting on her to come home.
Phew. Both of them are really messed up, and the fact that they have kids in this mess is just insane. You see, Ms. Thompson admits that she isn't a saint, but she says that neither is Mr. Thompson, and here is how she proves that.
And he failed to mention while he was doing all that research trying to figure out who I was talking to, he failed to tell anybody that he was engaged to this girl.
What?
While he was still married. And
What?
It's on her Facebook, so he can't even lie about it.
You asked another girl to marry you while you're still married to your wife?
I did.
Now, see, he never admitted that. When I asked him about it, how could I be engaged? I'm still married.
Wow. Okay, is there a way the kid can belong to neither of these people? Because this doesn't seem like the right kind of situation for any kid to be born into. Anyway, let us find out who is the real father of this child, Mr. Thompson or some other man.
Mr. Thompson, you are not the father. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, sir. How are you feeling in this moment?
I had already accepted the situation. When I knew he wasn't, is to actually know he's not mad, it just hurts a little bit more. The other dude don't want nothing to do with him, but like I said, I can't let another child grow up without a father.
Mr. Kitty Court, we are thrust into the world of Funzie vs. Irvin, where secrets and emotions collide in a high-stakes battle for paternity. Ms. Funzie enters the courtroom with a mix of determination and anxiety, ready to confront Mr. Irvin over her claims about their child, asserting that the child is indeed theirs. The air is thick with tension as she prepares to lay bare her truth, hoping to validate her claims and put an end to the uncertainty that has loomed over their relationship. All eyes are on her, and the stakes couldn't be higher as the truth hangs in the balance.
Good day, everyone. Ms. Funzie, you have opened your case to save your family. You are here to prove your 1-month-old baby, Joakim Irvin, is your boyfriend, Mr. Irvin's biological son. You say you and Mr. Irvin have 2 other children, and you plan to have this 3rd child.
However, Mr. Irvin wasn't having it, as she had alluded to having an affair a few weeks before the pregnancy. The atmosphere was charged, and the tension palpable as both parties prepared to air their grievances.
You blame his sister for stirring up his ridiculous doubts. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Irvin, you say that Miss Funzie confessed to having an affair weeks before you learned of her pregnancy, and
She revealed that cheating had been a trend in their relationship, noting that Mr. Irvin had cheated on her earlier. Since he confessed, she argued it was only fair for her to do the same. She then reinforced that it was only a one-night stand, trying to minimize the impact of her actions.
When he had told me he cheated, and I would feel like I should come to him because I cheated.
So how soon after you found out she was cheating, confronted her,
I'd say
did you find out she was pregnant?
When we went to the mobile ultrasound, I wanted to see how many weeks she was, and when she came out with the paper, I couldn't understand the number of how many weeks she was.
Seeds of lies and deceit started to take root when Mr. Irvin relayed the incident of an adulterated ultrasound scan result. He, along with his sister Jada, believed it had been doctored to suit Ms. Funzie's narrative, a claim she vehemently denied, escalating the drama in the courtroom.
For ultrasound, I wanted to see how many weeks she was, and when she came out with the paper, I couldn't understand the number of how many weeks she was. Like they drew the number in cursive or something.
They drew 1 week and 2 days, and you saw the lady hand me the paper off the bus. You parked right outside, and you saw her hand me the paper.
I didn't know if she was pregnant by me or someone else.
In a bid to further substantiate her claim, Ms. Funzie presented a picture of their boys, revealing they all had knock knees, arguing that this should count for something, as it may be hereditary. She felt this visual evidence would bolster her case.
Like they got the same
Yeah.
knock knees. Oh, they're okay. All the other kids, they say they all got the same knees and the same body shape, and you say Joakim got the same thing.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you believe these knock knees are hereditary and the body shape is an
Yeah.
indication.
The court, however, had better plans, and in search of the truth, invited a medical expert who established that it was difficult to say with certainty that children at that age with knock knees had a biological relationship. This revelation struck a blow to Ms. Funzie's argument.
This minor child carries that trait.
I would say, in my expert opinion, it would be very difficult to determine this at this age.
Okay.
Knowing that the variants happen in children less than 6 years old.
So, Ms. Funzie, as you listen to Dr. Richardson's testimony, does that change your belief?
The shock was palpable. This finding counted for nothing as Ms. Funzie held on strongly to her belief that the children were indeed Mr. Irvin's.
Y'all understand what he's talking about, but it's still, they all have knock knees.
Have you ever told this other man that he is the biological father?
No, Your Honor, I haven't talked to him since the day that I cheated on Jordan with him.
All right. So, in this courtroom, we get to the truth. So, this courtroom has tracked down this other man.
Ms. Funzie's earlier statement soon faced a challenge when a message submitted to the court by the man with whom she cheated came to light. He, without mincing words, revealed to the court that they had been intimate multiple times. Of course, Ms. Funzie's jaw dropped, and the entire courtroom marveled at this unexpected twist.
They tell him.
We kept sleeping with each other 3 to 4 times after that with no condom. This was between the months of October 2017 and November 2017. Ms. Funzie, I'll let you respond now.
That don't even make sense. They say November 2017.
Are you
I
lying?
blocked him October.
Okay, Bria.
Eventually, she surrendered and admitted that it indeed happened multiple times, shifting the dynamics of the case once more.
Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, it was more than one time, or it was a one-night stand?
It was more than one time.
You go get
Okay.
it. You lied. You lied to me.
Listen, let her explain it. She's telling the truth now. She's getting to the place where she's ready to talk about this, and this is good because this is what's going to...
While the court prepared to get the results, Mr. Irvin proffered hope by stating that he was willing to accept the child as his, if indeed he was. This declaration brought a moment of calm to the room, showcasing a glimmer of potential reconciliation. However, if the child was not his, he wasted no time in expressing that it would mark the end of his relationship with Ms. Funzy.
Yes, I'm hoping he's mine for my son's sake.
And if he is not,
If he's not, I'm gonna be done with this relationship for good.
I'm ready to get the result. Jerome. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of...
With this, the tension built up again in the room, setting the stage for what could be a decisive factor in this strained relationship. Would they stand united, or is this the end? Let's find out.
Or Mr. Winfield is the father of 1-month-old Joaquim Irvin. It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Winfield.
I know what I told you.
Mr. Brown currently has full custody of his child, 18-month-old child, but he's found out that there is a very real possibility that the child isn't his, and that is what he is in court today to find out. Here is how it begins.
Drag Ms. Stewart to court to prove that you are Colby's father because you fear if you are not, you will lose him for good.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Stewart, you admit you kept the secret from Mr. Brown but claim the truth is the truth. And the fact is you were secretly cheating on him, and you appear in court today to prove that the other man is the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
This might be the most emotionally draining case ever on paternity court. This man loves his child enough to fight for full custody and get it. That is insane if you know how difficult it is for men to get full custody. But now that he has it, there is now a possibility that he isn't the baby's father. This will be a wild ride for sure.
My whole entire family knows him as theirs. I have 2 grandmas that have Alzheimer's that know him as their grandsons. My 14-year-old son knows him as his little brother. My house is a more stable home for him. It's a place where he's taken care of, and I know it's the better thing for him.
Well, that is correct. That is nothing to a mom, but fathers getting full custody is very rare. So I am going to go out on a limb here and say Ms. Stewart probably isn't in the best shape to raise this kid. Anyway, how did Mr. Brown even find out that the kid might not be his?
Well, because after she moved out, she asked me if I wanted him for a couple days while she was moving her things out. She called to tell me when she was coming, and I told her that I wasn't going to give him back at that point in time because I knew what my rights were. I knew that the living situations at my household
Yeah, and I have a
were
right
better
to see
than
my son.
where
Wow. So she was the one who involved the cops. And still she didn't get the baby? Her living conditions must be extremely rough. But Mr. Brown isn't done. He has more insane details to drop about this case.
So what happened when she brought the police to your house?
You know, by that time, I'd already talked to 1 district attorney and 3 police officers who told me the same thing that I already knew, that by law, I did not have to give him back due to the fact I signed the paternity affidavit. I was on the birth certificate, and the cop that she brought was probably the only one on the force she could get to side with her, and he came and told me it was in my best judgment that I give the child back.
There are very few fathers who come into paternity court who would stand up for their right to their kids like this. Mr. Brown is definitely not the regular sort of guy. So what happened after that?
You were trying to take my son away from me, and that's what you did, exactly. Rip my son from my life, from my home. And when the results are say that you are not the father, I am leaving today with my son. That is guaranteed.
You're so confident.
Wait, are there 2 potential fathers? Wow. Ms. Stewart was really getting her freak on while she was with Mr. Brown. But let us get into the details of their relationship. How did they even get into this mess?
She lived in my household for over 3 years and mooched off my family.
No, I never mooched off your family. It's more like your family was given to me. They're being generous.
Miss Stewart, why did you wait so long to tell him? Like, why not tell him before so he would have never had the child in the first place?
What? The fact that she is able to lay out her motivations so coldly is crazy. She suspected from the beginning that the child didn't belong to him but decided to continue lying because he was a good man from a good family. So what changed? Let's see.
So you broke up and then he wanted custody.
Yes.
So if you had stayed in the relationship, would you have ever told him that this may not be his child?
No, because because being with a good man like Mr. Brown.
Same thing.
Is this that you don't believe he's the father, or you're just unhappy that you broke up and he took the child?
This is one cold woman. The only reason she is bringing it up now is because he wants custody of the child, because she doesn't have a great living situation. This is the sort of heartless move you see in movies, and she did something even worse.
Now, you're saying he's not the child's biological father, and you know that for certain, and yet you filed to try to get him to pay child support? How does he get an open case?
I don't know, Your Honor. I'm not even quite sure. I don't understand that. But I never went and I never told them that he was a father and that I wanted child support from him, because I even told DHS and the child support recovery that I did not want any money from him.
What a case. Anyway, Mr. Brown's girlfriend is in court, and she will be telling us what she knows about this case. Of course, Ms. Stewart hates Mr. Brown's girlfriend because, well, she's taken her place, and that hate is pretty obvious.
This is between me and Mr. Brown, not me and Miss Teskey and Mr. Brown.
Well, Miss Teskey takes care of your son, you don't.
Yeah, and Miss Teskey ain't supposed to be around our son.
Okay, all right, now I know what it's about. Moving
That's
forward.
why Miss Teskey is supposed to be around me, Billy Andre
Moving
JT.
forward. Moving forward. So, Miss
That's why she
Teskey,
got her own
what
son.
do you have to add? What do you know about this situation?
Gosh, this just gets worse the longer it goes on. But how does this even work? Does Miss Stewart get any benefits for having the kid even though she does not actually have the kid? Apparently she does.
Your Honor, she's still getting all kinds of benefits for Kobe, and she doesn't even have him.
That then sheds some light on why they would be coming after Mr. Brown for child support. If you're receiving some type of state assistance, they want their money back.
I am going to be real with Mr. Brown here. It does not look like this kid is his kid, because Ms. Stewart looks like the sort of cold, conniving woman who wouldn't do this if she were not absolutely sure. Anyway, let's see who the father of the baby is.
Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
I told you. I told you.
Mr. Brown, you need to sit down. You need to take a seat.
Mr. Thompson